Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Nicholas. Yes. How are you?
Perfect, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you, my friend?
Great.
So it's just 7 minutes or 6 minutes to start, right?
Exactly. Greetings, everyone.
Thank you. Hi, David. How are you?
I'm doing well, alhamdulillah. How about yourself, mate?
هاي دكتور محمد
I'm good.
ازيك؟
Hi, Zainab. How are you?
fine.
Alhamdulillah. How are you, Zainab?
Good to be here. It's a pleasure, as always, and an honor.
It's a pleasure, David, to work together.
So everybody, I just wanted to welcome you all on behalf of Young Mediterranean Voices. I hope you have a great virtual debate forum and enjoy your debate. Good luck to everybody. And I'll see you around in the next round. A reminder that there's interpretation from English to Arabic. The debate itself will of course take place in English, but interpretation is available. There's a little icon at the bottom here. So enjoy yourselves.
Okay, everyone, again, just apart from the welcome, I just want to make sure that all the adjudicators are here. Muhammad is here, Sarah is here, and
Hi, hi Danny.
David,
Yes.
David is here. Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yes, I'm here. And just 1 minute. I will start based on
Yes,
the
yes.
adjudication manual by checking the attendance of the old participant
Perfect.
here. Don't worry about this thing.
Perfect. By the way, just in case, a debater is missing, because we already have that in one of the rooms. Unfortunately, the other debater will have to play 2 roles until we find a solution for next time. So thank you so much. They're in your safe hands, Muhammad. Good luck. I'm moving on.
Thank you, then. Thank you. So guys, let's start right now by checking the attendance of all people in the room to make sure that all teams are available. Please, we would like just after I call your name, just open your camera, because it's very important to see you during the debate, and to make sure that there is no missed any one or debater from such a debate. I would like to start with, I can see David and Sarah from the adjudicators. Zainab as well is here. Salah, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Salah. So for the opening government, Katrina Tranova from Czech Republic. Katrina. Katrina?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, hi Katrina, how are you? So Adnan will be from Algeria. Adnan?
Hi, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Could you please try to open your camera, Adnan, because it's very important during the debate.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you. Oh, hi, how are you? Who will be the Prime Minister and who will be the Deputy? You will be the Prime Minister or the Deputy Prime Minister?
Yeah, I will be the Prime Minister, and Katrina will be the Deputy Prime Minister.
Okay, thank you. For the closing government, Mar Lopez from Spain. Mar?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Mar, how are you? And Mar, you will be a member of government or government whip?
The government whip.
Okay, thank you. Ahmed Sabdouna Ali, Ahmed from Morocco?
Yeah, I'm present.
Hi, Ahmed, how are you?
Great.
Great. For the opening opposition, Nicholas, Nicholas. Hi, Nicholas.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Nicholas?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi, Nicholas. You will be the leader of opposition or the deputy leader of opposition, Nicholas?
I will be the deputy leader. Isra will be the leader.
Okay, thank you. Isra Lama from Algeria. Isra?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Hi, Isra. How are you?
We're fine.
Georgios Verdi from Greece.
Hello.
Hello, Georgios. How are you? You will be the member of opposition or opposition whip?
Opposition whip.
Opposition whip. Great. Salma Khalid from Egypt.
Yes, hello.
Hello, Salma. How are you? Great. Oh, so all people are here. Thank you for this. So we would like right now to start with the introduction for the OMV and even for the forum that we are going to do right now. But before this, we have a clip during the debate. Lead adjudicator for this debate, and it will be my pleasure to participate or take part in with David and Sarah as well as adjudicator. They will trying to do their best in order to have a good adjudication to your debates. We also have two amazing devotees, Zainab Zaidan and Salah Musali. Welcome Zainab and Salah for this debate. And then we are going to start the round one for the Euromed debate and policy forum, which is starting right now in different rooms. And we have to, just simple rules that you have to be familiar with before starting this debate that I would like to share with you before starting. And then we will start our debate. The first one is that the motion for today's debate is this House believes that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. Again, this House believes that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. This is the motion that we are going to debate after a while. And for some rules that I think you have been informed about it. The first one, or the most important one, that every speaker or speaker have only 5 minutes. We know that the British parliamentary should be 7 minutes, but this is a modified debate format. So you will have only 5 minutes to do your speech. And secondly, and most importantly, for the point of information, no point of information is allowed at all during the first minute and the last minute. So I mean from 0 seconds to 60 seconds or 1 minute, you are not allowed to ask for any point of information, the same as the last minute, because this is a protected time for every speaker to starting his speech or even finishing his speech. Then there should be 15 seconds between any POIs, and the style of asking the POI is you just open your microphone, asking for point of information. You will open your microphone because all of you will be muted. You have to open your microphone, then you ask point of information, and then just wait for 5 seconds because POI dismissal will be in case of no response after just 5 seconds. And don't worry, the adjudicators, all of the adjudicators are aware of that, and we are counting accurately, actually, all of the requested point of information and how many point of information each speaker of you will receive. There is only one case that expected to happen at the point of order. The point of order is you can use it anytime that if you feel that the rules has been violated, for example. And we do not actually expect this because you have been well selected to participate in such forum, but at least this is one of the main rights for you as a debater. And then for the timekeeping, I will be the timekeeper as well to make sure that every single seconds are going well. After the first minute of your speech, I will use this ring, or I will be by this. I would like to make sure that all of you listen to this and the voice is clear, right? This. All of you hear that? Great. Then at the fourth minute, I will give you another one, which means that you have only 1 minute to finish your speech. And at 5 minutes, I will do through this. That means you have to stop, and we will guarantee only 20 seconds plus 5 minutes to finish. If the 5 minutes, 20 seconds, I will obligatory mute you, and you will not allowed to speak anytime. So after the end of this debate, all of you will leave the room, and the 3 of adjudicators, me, David, and Sarah, will be starting to do the briefing and judge all of you. And then after 15 minutes, you will come back again to give you a general feedback for each team, how to improve for the other rounds, and we will announce only the winning team. Just for information, we will rank all of you. The first team will get 3 points, and the second one will get 2 points. The third team will get 1 point, and the list will get 0 points. But we will not allow, and it's not allowed based on the adjudication rules by Danny to allow for the ranking as a whole, but we will actually announce the only winning team for this debate. After that, after this feedback, by the way, it's one-way feedback because it's not allowed to get or ask a question. Just you can text it in the chat, and all the adjudicators can reply for this if we have time. But at the time of the feedback, this only one-way feedback, no feedback to another feedback. Great, everything is clear. If anyone have any question, please raise your hand before starting. Great. Okay. So we will start our debate in just 1 second to make sure that stopwatch is going forward. Are you ready, guys? Yes, we know that debating behind the screen is a new experience for all of us, but we are expecting a lot of you. Good luck to the speech. You have only 5 minutes. The stage is yours. Adnan?
Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to welcome the education members. I would also like to welcome my teammates in the government team and the opposition team. So this House believes that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. First, I would like to define some of the key words in the motion. First, I would like to define the developed countries. Developed countries are mature and sophisticated economy countries, usually measured by the gross domestic product, the GDP, and by the average income per resident. Developed countries have advanced technological infrastructure and have diverse industrial and service sectors. Second of all, financial support. Financial support is simply money provided to enable an organization to continue. This money is usually provided by the government. Then we move to developing countries. Developing countries refer to nations with less developed industrial base than developed countries and a sovereign state with less human development indicator, which is called the HDI. The other developed countries, per capita income or gross domestic product. Then I would like to define the word preserve. The verb preserve means to keep safe from injury, harm, or destruction, or in other words, to protect. Then I would like to present our policy or our goal. We think that developed countries should mobilize additional financial resources for developing countries in order to preserve the environment. I will be dealing with some of the political arguments. Then the Deputy Prime Minister will be dealing with the environmental and economic arguments, and the leader or the government member will deal with the partnership, which is the Sustainable Development Goal number 17, and the government whip will summarize the debate. First, I would like to begin with my first argument, which is we believe that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment, because neglecting this motion would be considered a breach to one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The United Nations 13th Sustainable Development Goal is climate action, which asserts to take urgent actions to combat climate change and its impacts. For its effect, several people. For example, in 2018, 39 million people were affected by only climate change. Expect other changes. So neglecting this motion or not giving financial aid to developing countries means that we are breaching the 13th Sustainable Development Goal, which asserts taking actions to eliminate climate change or climate change action. My second argument is that developing countries do not have disaster risk reduction strategies, not unlike developed countries, because they do not have enough funds and resources. That's why developing countries need some financial aid in order to have this disaster risk reduction and consequently reducing the risks of climate change. For example, only 85 countries have disaster risk reduction, and all of them are developed countries. So, and consequently, 2019 was actually the second warmest year on record in history, because developing countries do not have the ways or the manners to protect themselves or to reduce the risks. So, people around the world depend greatly on the natural environment for their health and livelihoods, especially people in developing countries. So a healthy environment supplies the necessities of life, like water, food, and air. So developing countries have the right to accept funds or to be allocated funds in order to conduct actions against climate change to preserve their environment. So it also provides resources for economic growth and the means to fight natural hazards. The well-being of developing countries is often linked to the state of the natural environment and the opportunities it offers. So developing countries offer a lot of natural environment resources, and by not protecting it, we are actually threatening it to be endangered. So that's why we urge Armadillo the policy. We think that developing countries should mobilize additional financial resources for developing countries in order to preserve the environment. So thank you very much.
Hello and greetings everyone, my teammates and the adjudicators. We are here all together debating the motion that says that this House believes that developing countries should provide financial support for the developing countries. As a leader of the opposition, me and my team, we totally strongly stand against this motion. First of all, we agree with the definition given by the government, and let me start with refuting what the first speaker has produced. He stated that not providing developing countries with the financial support would breach one of the United Nations 13 goals from the Sustainable Development Goals. Well, let me tell you something. In fact, the United Nations can't force governments to give out money from its budget to others. We can protect our environment. We can combat the climate change through different process and different aspects, not only by providing money. It is in fact not a matter of money, but a matter of policy and awareness. So now digging into my arguments, which are going to be on the scientific field, and the second speaker will provide a political arguments. Well, the development countries have the greatest capacity to combat climate change, therefore to preserve our environment. It is these developed countries that have the richer capacities to come up with necessary technology to make the economy greener and to produce renewable energy to mitigate against the effects of disasters. Moreover, these same places are the countries that have finance in order to support many pioneerings and new projects that have preserved our environment. Finally, these countries have the expertise to put these new inventions and projects into practice. They have the experts to work out the best place to build, to advise on building, and make sure that project does not have an intended side effect. Without investing its money in other countries, taking it as a support, the developed countries can use its budget in order to make itself a suitable place and ready to fight the climate change and the problems that face our environment. As an example to that, there are many countries, European countries and other countries that could manage to make their countries eco-friendly countries, such as Finland, Switzerland, and many others. So that's why I think it is better in order to invest the country's finance inside the land rather than giving providing a financial support to the countries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The leader of the opposition, I would like to invite the Deputy Prime Minister for his speech. The stage is yours.
Okay, firstly, I would like to thank you, opposition leader, to state your position. And firstly, I would like to provide rebuttal. So we highly recommend to provide financial support. We are not trying to force anybody to give that. Secondly, I would like to highlight that there are these differences between developed countries and developing countries, and with this concern, we are trying to together combat environmental issues. But now let's move to my argumentation. We strongly support this motion because of its economic and environmental impact. To support this argument, there's a study by China Center for Energy and Economics Research. We know that developing countries are facing huge challenges connected with climate change, and specifically pollution, which has a huge impact on its economy and environment. Developed countries may find dealing with pollution easier because they have been able to achieve substantial economic growth and development, which is not the case for developing countries, as these countries need to focus on basic living necessities, for example, poverty, food supply, or healthcare. To the aim of enhancing the competitiveness of local industries and desire of dealing with high levels of incomes and non-income poverty in the region, cheap energy access is provided for all. And this fact encourages energy overconsumption, waste, and inefficiency, as well as fuel pollution. Also, according to the same study, developing countries are facing huge problem with the environment and pollution because, as I mentioned, they are trying to provide cheap energy for inhabitants, which is not, again, the case for developed countries, as they have the essential tools and materials to tackle this issue. So, based on these strong arguments and supportive explanation, we supportly believed that developed countries should financially support developing countries to preserve environment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, the Deputy Prime Minister. I would like to invite the Deputy Leader of Opposition. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Prime Minister and Vice Prime Minister and my dear colleague, the Leader of Opposition. We find this motion to be naive. Having attended 2 UN climate meetings in Katowice in Poland and in Madrid in Spain, we believe that there is no real political will for the developed countries to actually support the developing countries. And as long as there is no political will, we cannot just assume that developing countries would not continue with their development. Currently, developing countries produce really small amount. If I remember correctly, it was around 3% what the African countries produce of the total greenhouse emissions in the world. So far, they have not really benefited from the fossil fuel-based economic growth that we have seen in developing countries. Who are we to say to developing countries that they cannot do the same? Who are we to deny them of having a better life, having a better opportunities for their kids? What do we say to families with small kids who are about to die of hunger? Do we tell them, oh no, you cannot burn wood because that would be not environmentally friendly and you should die of hunger? As long as we're naive and we're demanding the developing countries to do something that the developing countries were not able to do, I think we're playing with double standards. So that's why our house, we don't believe that this motion is achievable and realistic. We should find ways for the developing countries to also benefit from this fossil fuel-based economic growth. As long as they're producing such a small amount of the total greenhouse emissions, we cannot demand them of this kind of thing. And as long as we don't have the developing countries to actually support this motion, all those meetings with Russia or Canada or USA, as long as they're not part of the actual climate deal in the first place, I don't see any opportunity for this to happen.
Point of information.
Thank you.
A point of information.
Nicholas, did you finish? Hello, Nicholas.
Yes, I'm done. Did somebody want to ask me something?
Yes, go ahead, Ahmed. Yes, go ahead, Ahmed. You can ask
Okay,
point.
you said there is no political will from developed countries. So don't you think working together with developing countries by giving them assistance, unlike what you're denying, is denying the UN's SDG 17, which is about global partnership for sustainable development?
No, we totally agree with the SDG, but as long as we're working in a system based on UN, where there has to be, everybody has to agree, and then we have countries like USA who is not even part of the climate deal, we cannot get any kind of like deal which would like require all the developing countries to do something. And as long as we don't have a deal that all the developing countries will work together, it's very hard to see that, for example, European Union would support that much either. So I don't see it realistic as long as we're depending on a system which is based on everybody agreeing on something, and we don't find agreement on climate funding.
Nicholas, did you finish your speech?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I would like to invite the member for the government.
Okay, thank you. I hope everyone can hear me first of all.
Yes, go ahead, Ahmed, yes.
Okay, so thank you, educators. Thank you to both teams, opposition team, government team. As the government, we strongly believe that this house believe that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. First of all, I'd like to refute some points that were mentioned by previous speakers. Well, the first speaker was talking about producing new renewable energies, plans, and projects. Well, all of these are supported by financial support. So do you think developing countries that are still struggling with hunger, poverty, will be able to pull off these projects and succeed in achieving this goal with this project? Secondly, the second speaker said all developing countries. I think you're mistaking the motion here. We're not talking about providing all developing countries. Besides, we're saying should, and we're talking about should. It's not necessary. It's more of a proposal. So it's not the sole solution here, but it's more like proposing another solution. We're not neglecting other solutions like awareness, but since the motion is all about providing financial support, we believe that's important. Well, after rebuting this, we'd like to give our arguments. And from my own side to be that we strongly believe in this motion and support it because such financial support is a support to strengthen the political relationship between countries. To support this argument, I will be talking about the UN's SDG 17 and SDG 10. The SDG 17, which strengthens the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. The core mean stated here was to mobilize financial resources to countries in order to achieve the sustainable development, which climate change is part of it. And the targets stated by the UN itself are mostly developing countries. Target 17.1, 17.2, 3, 5, 7, 9 to 13. They are all encouraging providing support to these developing countries. For example, 17.2 says developed countries to implement fully their official development assistance commitments, including the commitment by many developed countries to achieve the target of 0.7% of ODA/GNI to developing countries. And the same goes with 17.3. Also, let's talk about the UN SDG 10, which is about reducing inequalities within and among countries. And reducing this inequality and ensuring no one is left behind both goals are integral to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And when we talk about no one, we're talking about individually, when we talk about gender and race, and we're talking about collectively, when we talk about countries, which in this case, developing countries is not an exception. And to support this case, this claim, I would give an example of the European Union. Under the Paris Agreement, countries committed to make financial flows consistent with a low emission, climate resilient pathway to achieve the long-term climate goals. As the EU supports developing countries in improving their conditions for mobilizing low carbon finance. And I'll give you an example. Just in October 2019, the EU, together with the relevant authorities from Argentina, Canada, Chile, China, India, Kenya, and Morocco. And when we talk about Kenya and Morocco, we're talking about developing countries. So they launched the International Platform on Sustainable Finance, which is an example, a clear example of a collective and collaborative work between the developed countries and developing countries regarding climate change and preserving the environment. Lastly, we would like to remind the opposition that with the adoption of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, 193 United Nations member states pledged to ensure no one, and I repeat, no one will be left behind. And as I explained before, when we talk about no one, we're talking about individuals, and we're talking about collectively. And we're talking about collectively, we're talking about countries. So don't you think by not providing, by not suggesting, providing financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment is leaving them behind while other countries, developed countries, can actually go? And like the second speaker explained, that these countries are still struggling with poverty. So these financial supports are very important. So based on these benefits mentioned above and evidence stated, we find that supporting developing countries to preserve the environment is very important in order to carry them along in achieving the SDGs and ensuring a safe and clean environment. Therefore, we strongly believe that developed countries should provide financial support. And I repeat, should provide. It's not unnecessary. We're not talking about, it's like a proposal, should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd like to invite the member of opposition.
Okay, so the top 10 corrupt countries are developing countries. Good afternoon, everybody. So first of all, I'd just like to assure our situation as opposition that we're totally against today's motion, which says that this House believes that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. So let me start my speech by rebutting what the opposition team has mentioned. So for the member of government, you asked our deputy leader of opposition if by stopping financial support, are we neglecting SDG 17, which is for global partnership? Definitely not. Do you want us to to waste money and throw our money away? I'm talking about developed countries. Do you like them to throw their money away without assuring that these financial support will be positively used for preservation of the environment? But if you like us to do that, so we will be achieving a lying global partnership. But in order for us to achieve SDG number 17, we have to assure that these developing countries will get this financial support for the preservation of environment. And actually, we cannot guarantee that, and I will clarify that more in my argument. And for the deputy, thank you. For the deputy of Prime Minister, you've mentioned that developing countries rather focus on life necessity other than the environment. Thank you so much for mentioning that. So that's also what I'm gonna clarify in my argument, that the developing countries have a priority over the environment. So if they are gonna get a financial support for preservation of the environment, definitely they will not use it for the preservation of environment. They will use it to solve the hunger, the poverty, the education, but they will never use it for the preservation of our environment. So thank you so much again for mentioning this point. Let me go through my argument today. So today we're claiming that corrupt regimes lead to ineffectiveness of the financial support. As I mentioned in the rebuttal, the developing countries will not use this financial support for the preservation of environment due to their corruption. As I mentioned also in the introduction, that the top 10 corrupt countries are developing countries. So can you imagine even how high the rate of corruption in these developing countries? Like in developing countries, the corrupt regimes have a clear or give a clear explanation for the performance disappointment. They don't care about anything. They don't care about education, environment, hunger, or any essential aspect of the life. So even if you try, thank you, even if you try to combat and reform such regimes, you will find it a very hard task. You cannot fix them, as there were several tries before to overcome this corruption by the donor countries or the developed countries, but unfortunately they failed it. Yet such regimes remain an obstacle as usual in achieving and effecting foreign aid program. So if they got any financial support to go for the developing countries, only have two ways. The first, either the corrupt governments will use the foreign environment aid for their interests and will disregard the preservation of environment. They don't care even about the environment. Or the second, they will promote environmental policies that only benefit the rich people in the developing countries, which is something called eco-colonialism, which means that only the rich members of the society receive the benefits of the green economy, while the rest, all the poorest members, they're just facing the downsides of this development. So in both scenarios, whether they did anything of what I mentioned, these problems, which is available in such regimes, prevent the creation of convenient conditions for necessary reform and development. So the financial support for developing countries for preservation of the environment will be useless.
Some information.
Go ahead, please.
Well, it seems like you're contradicting the speaker that spoke before you, because he said there is no political will from developed countries, and you're neglecting this by saying you don't trust the developing countries. So it seems like the problem is from the developed countries, from the second speaker, and from you, it's from the developing countries. So
actually, it's a different perspective. Well, I'm not saying that he's wrong, but it's a two different perspectives, so it's fine. According to the Guardian website, let me go through the evidence. In 2012, UK suspended the aid to Uganda, which is a developing country, as a concern that they misuse funds. As I mentioned, they misuse funds, they don't use it in the main aim. And also as a brief of example for the eco-colonialism, according to the British newspaper Daily Star, the rice farming was very common in Gambia, which is a developing country, but with some colonial rules, they took the best part of the land for growing groundnuts to go for the European market, which is the rich people, and then the rice for feeding the people of the Gambia, they started importing this part. So they are suffering for this eco-colonialism. Let me sum this up. So according to, as per our evidence and as our explanation, that the developing countries will misuse the financial support. So we are confirming our position that this House believes that we are totally against today's motion. And as the leader of opposition mentioned in the beginning, it's better than for the developing country to focus more on poverty, or developed country on focus more on fixing themselves, other than wasting their money with the developing country, and they will never use it in the right way. So developed country, it's better for them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I would like to invite the last speaker in the government web. The stage is yours.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, honorable adjudicators, fellow government team, and distinguished opposition team. I salute you all. It has been a very interesting debate from the beginning till now. As the government team, I would like to restate our stance, which is that as the government, we strongly support the motion that states that this House believes that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries, and through the debate, we have been able to present arguments and explanation to prove our position. Starting from the Prime Minister, we have defined the key words of the motion: developed and developing countries, financial support, and preserve. And we have presented the team policy, and as well as that, we have pointed out the different aspects we were going to talk about. I would like to remind to all of you the Sustainable Development Goals we have mentioned during all the debate. We have mentioned the number 10, 13, 14, 15, and 17, and we have given examples from them. In addition to this, our first argument was presented by the Prime Minister, and it was that negotiating the motion would be considered a bridge to one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And he have added examples of the impact of the climate change, linking it to the 13th Sustainable Development Goal. As well as this, he has sustained that developing countries don't have disaster risk reduction strategies because they don't have enough funds and resources. And that's why developing countries need some aid to reduce the impact of climate change. Then, our deputy prime minister then took the floor, refuting the claims given by the first speakers, then following up with our third argument, which was that we support the motion because of its economical and environmental impact, explaining the reason, which is that developing countries may find tackling pollution easier because they have been able to achieve sustainable economic growth and development, which is not the case for developing countries, and these countries need to focus on basic living necessities because they are dealing with poverty and food supply, so they don't have the tools and materials to face the pollution. For our member of the government, they successfully refute other arguments that were given by the opposition, while reconfirming the government's stance. Also, they presented another argument, which was that financial support is a support to strengthen the political relationship between countries. To support this argument, the member of our government has talked about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 17, which is to strengthen the means of the implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable countries. And he has added to the Sustainable Development Goal 10, that is reducing inequalities within and among countries. In addition to this, he has also added some examples from the European Union, and he has pointed out the importance of the principle of the 2030 agenda, which is no one will be left behind. However, we believe that these strong arguments and refutation of our opposition's arguments have been presented, we have been able to confirm our support for the motion, which is that this House believes that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you. And then we will move to the last speaker in this debate, to the opposition whip. You have only 5 minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, panel. I am the last member of the opening opposition team, and in my speech, I will briefly summarize the debate and explain to you why our side, me and Salma, have actually won this debate. So first of all, let me go through the arguments of the debate. We believe that the stake behind the motion of the debate is to preserve the environment of the developing countries. What we are saying is that the team on opening government and closing government have not provided us with an adequate, effective mechanism to do it. And I'm going to explain to you why. The arguments of the opening side, of the proposition side of the House, boil down to developing countries are weak, developed countries have the means, political, economical, technological, energy, technology means to help developing countries preserve their environment, and therefore developed countries should give money to developing countries to do the same. However, they have not explained to us why giving away money is a good mechanism. So I come to our side of the House. What the opening opposition has explained to is that there are some hurdles to this process, and that this mechanism is not always effective. What the opening opposition has explained is there are significant political problems to this mechanism. Developed countries often do not see developing countries favorably, their relationship is strenuous, and therefore aid cannot be provided. But I do believe that the most important argument in this debate came from Salma, who explained that even if we accept that in our side of the House, we do accept that developing countries have have vulnerabilities. We do accept that developed countries have strengths, but we do not believe that just giving money away to developing countries will help them overcome their weaknesses, even if we surpass the political hurdles that exist in between them. And why is that? Salma explained to you two important mechanisms that stand in the way. The first of all is that we observe that in developing countries there exists weak institutional arrangement. That is, these countries are often controlled by a small business or political elite, and when foreign aid when foreign aid is being given by developed countries to developing countries, this foreign aid is often concentrated on the hands of the elite. Second of all, even if the elites of these countries need to do something to keep this flow coming, need to present some environmental project that we are doing something, even if they have to do that, they will not do that for the most vulnerable parts of their society. They will do it for their own people, the high class, the elite of developing countries. Yes, Ahmad, please.
Well, you use the word just giving money, the word just. Does that mean that you support giving money to them? But giving money is not the only solution, which means you support our stance, but you just have additional solutions. Thank you.
Well, in the same case, the same argument applies. With giving money, first of all, money is the baseline of protecting the environment. Even if you give technical knowledge, even if you provide political support, without money, you cannot build adequate environmental projects such as renewable energy projects and others that will help you preserve the environment. So we believe that money is the bedrock of environmental preservation. But even if we surpass the money hurdle, political help and technical help will also be given to the elites who represent the developing countries and who are corrupt and who will only serve their own interests. So in order to conclude this debate and explain to you why we have won once again, we do accept that developing countries are weak, and we do accept that developed countries have the means, but the in-between mechanism, just giving money, will mean that developing countries will throw their money away. Even if they overcome the political strenuous hurdles that the opening opposition talks to you about, they will bump into a very significant failure of institutional designs in developing countries, and that is the high level of corruption. As we have observed time and time again, when you just throw in money, even if that comes with political, even if that comes with technical support, it will often serve the interests of the elites and their community, and it will concentrate on the hands of the few. And at the end of the day, it will not protect the environment, which is at the stake, at the heart of this debate. It is not SDGs, unfortunately. The SDGs only want to help us make our lives better. And if we do not provide adequate mechanisms to do that, then we will fail to observe the policy to protect the environment. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Georges, for this, and thank you for you all. And now, before leaving the room for just 15 minutes for the adjudicator to do the deliberation and giving you feedback, I just wanted to confirm with you the allocation of the teams. The opening government, are you team A, right? Opening government, you are team A. Katrina or Adnan, are you team A? Katrina?
Yes, we are team A.
Thank you. Closing government, your team B? Mar and Ahmed?
I'm sorry, we didn't get whether we're team B.
You are your name of the team. You are team B or C or D?
There is no name here with the team division. It was just like closing government and opening government we have here.
You are not assigned for the team. Yes, go ahead, please.
So me and Katrina are team A because I have it in the email, and Ahmed and Maria are team B. So team
guys,
A,
you have to make sure that with the name of your team, because at the end your result is connected to the name of the team. So yes. you are team A, and Ahmed and Mar, you are a team B. Please remember that. For the opening opposition, you are team C, right? Nicholas or Isra?
Yes.
Thank you. And Georges and Salma, you are team D. Is it right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, guys, thank you. So we have to just wait online, but away from this room for just 15 minutes for the deliberation between me and the other two judges. And then you will return back to get some areas of improvement in the upcoming rounds. So please, you have to leave room right now. If anyone from the technical support would help us to do this, I would appreciate. See you after 15 minutes.
You just leave everybody and then you come back to the same link.
Mohammed, Shai, and Zainab leave too, or do we stay here?
And we may ask Danny, Zainab and Salah, the two reporters.
Sorry, no, they don't need to be here. I think in all cases, all the notes that they've taken, and they don't need to even come back, I think, after this.
Okay. Thank you then. Thank you. So we still have Danny and David and then Sarah. There's someone called monitoring. Is it allowed to attend, Danny?
Let me see. Monitoring. Is monitoring part of the IP support? I don't know. Let me see. So there's Albert, okay, Muhammad, interpreter, David, Tara. So, oh, okay. So I don't know who monitoring is. So hello.
Okay.
Albert, who's monitoring? Can you help us? Hello, Albert?
Albert, you there?
I think he left us.
Oh.
Okay, I'm guessing. I mean, it wasn't any of the debaters, was it? Monitoring. No.
So
okay.
So guys, let's start because we have a very short time to get the results. As per the adjudication instruction manual sent by Danny, we have firstly to show you the first team or the winning team at the above of the page, blank page, and the lose team is at the bottom of the page. Then we all together will show the results based on this debate. If you need sometimes to do just notes, it's okay. But starting our debriefing should be like that. You have to write the winning team at the top of any blank page and the last team or the fourth team at the bottom of the page. Then we have to show themselves like this. So is it clear, David or Sarah?
No, I didn't get it that way. I was. I wrote the result.
Take your time, David. But all what we need right now is just trying to inspect your notes and remember what happened during the debate. Then put the first team or the winning team at the top of any blank page like this, and then the fourth team, which you get the lowest score, should be written in the bottom.
Yeah, no, me. I've written all the scores.
Yes, right.
All the scores for all.
No, the scores will come. Okay, David, the scores will come first. There is an adjudication manual sent by Danny that he told us, all of us adjudicators, how to judge the debate. The first thing is to start by trying to rank the four teams. The first one or the winning team would be at the top of any blank page.
Yeah, no,
you have to write it, and you don't show it for us. Yes, and the teams that get the lowest score at the bottom, the same as Sarah should do, and myself, and then we have to show it in front of the camera all together. If we agreed in the winning team and the team, the fourth team, then we will start to move to the next point, which is getting some data information. Sarah, do you hear me? Hello, Sarah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sure. Did you read the adjudication manual?
Yes, so just to make sure that I understand you, we have 4 teams, team A, B, C, and D. So I have to rank them for their performance, and then I will show you the paper and then we will discuss their performance together, right?
You're right, but Sarah, please write only the winning team in the top of any blank page, and the lowest score team at the bottom. For the second and third team, you don't have to write it now.
Okay, I'll just need a minute to review my notes
Okay.
and decide who
Okay.
that.
Just take your time, you and David. Try to do this, and we have to move faster, please, guys, because we have only 15 minutes.
Mohammed, the team is like the one we got here on the email, right? So Catherine Adnan, Mar Ahmed, Nicholas Isra, Yorges, and Salma Khalid, صح?
If you'd like to make sure, I will tell you the name again. The first speaker for the government is Adnan. Yeah. Then the second speaker, which is the leader of opposition, is Isra. Then who is the third one?
Katerina and Nicholas.
Katerina, yes, Katerina. Yes, Katerina Nicholas, right? Then Ahmed.
Salma. Mar Lopez and Yorgos.
And Georges.
All right.
Yes.
So team A is like Adnan Isra.
Team A is Adnan and Katerina.
Katerina. Then team B.
Yes.
Team B is like Isra and Nicholas.
Yes, this is team B.
And then we got Ahmed and Mar Lopez. This is team C.
Mar.
And then Salma Yorgos is team D. All right, got it.
Oh, excellent, great.
So let me just add these scores here.
It's a very hard decision, matter of fact, because some members were very good in the same team and others weren't that good. And then I wish I can just pick them.
So it's not you have to compare the team as a whole. So I know what you mean, that someone is good and his or her partner is not good. And the same in many teams. So you have to compare between the team as a whole. Who is the best team that you find for this debate is the winning team? And which team did you feel that he didn't provide any types of argument or refutation or didn't do his or her job?
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. So what about you, Sarah? Did you finish?
So I picked two teams. One is the winning team.
No. Just write it in the paper, and all of us will show like this. Sorry for that, guys, but this is the instruction that I have to.
Don't worry. You want me to show it?
Are you ready, Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's share it all. Yeah.
don't know if you can see.
I can't get it. Sarah, the winning team for you is Team B.
Yes.
Great. And for you,
Ahmed and Mar.
David?
C.
C. So for the lowest team for you, or the lowest score for you, Sarah?
For me, it was Team C.
Great. David?
A.
Okay. So for me personally, I agree with Sarah. I'm very sorry for that. I wrote B as the winning team and C as the lowest score. So we have two of us are agreed based on the first and the lowest. If you would like David to just explain more to change this result, because this is a majority of us, me and Sarah, agreed on the winning and also the lowest score, which is very good in such a deliberation. If you would like to agree with us, it's fine. And you can feel free to, if you would like to change the result and you are able to explain why you think that this team should be winning. You can do whatever you would like.
Yeah, wait, sorry, just a little bit. You, Muhammad, you put number 1. Who's the first player?
I put B, the same as Sarah. Ahmed and the one is called...
Mar.
No, Ahmed and Katrina. Sorry, Ahmed and Mar. Sorry, Ahmed and Mar. Yeah. David?
Yeah, Ahmed and Mar for you.
Yeah.
I thought the one was C. Ahmed and Mar is for me as well the first one. Wait.
Great. Okay, this is fine. So yeah, this is a team B, Ahmed and Mar. So all of us agree that Ahmed and Mar, team B, is the winning team, which is fine. And the lowest score is
Niklaus and Isra.
Nicholas and Isra, both of them didn't even finalize or continue the speech in 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 10 seconds. No notification. So that's why I choose this like you. David, do you have a problem with that?
Nicholas and Isra is like team B or what?
No, C.
That one is C. All right. Yeah, I meant the other one as well. Sorry, I just.
No. Okay.
No, it's okay then.
No, don't worry. I have to fill it to the papers, the result by myself, so don't worry about your notes. Then we have
it's okay.
Or to rank the second and the third team. For me, I ranked the second team, Sarah, as D, which is closing the opposition, and the third team is team A. Did you agree? Would you agree with me?
So Adnan and Katerina.
Adnan and Katrina is coming the second. Is coming the second. Yes, team D.
I would choose Isra and Niklaus as my second team.
Yeah, me too.
Isra and Nicholas.
Yes.
Because Nicholas gave a good performance at the end of the day, while Katrina, I don't know. And he also replied.
Nicholas is the team C, Sarah, and you told me that this is the lowest score.
Sorry. Just I will say them, and then you can. Okay. So so my first team is Team B, Ahmed and Mar. They are the winners. Okay, and the least performed team for me is Niklaus and Isra. So they are 4. For my number 2, I'm choosing Georgios and Salma.
Great, like me. I agree.
Okay. And the third is Adnan and Katarina.
Great. The same like me, Sarah. You're right. The same rank that I have.
There is Mar. It's a participant here. I think it should not come back right now since Mar is a debater. I don't know if you see.
Yes. Sorry.
No problem. You have to leave the room and come back after 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, even that. Thanks.
Okay, guys, great. So we agree together. We all of us agree that the winning team will be the team B, and then the second rank or the second team will be Team D. The third team is Team A, and the fourth team based on our ranking is Team C.
Okay, guys, there are a lot of participants in the room.
Thank you guys for this. One more issue before starting to do the briefing or deliberation for the debaters. We have to agree on some simple points as the area of improvement in the upcoming debates.
Mohammed, debaters are in the room.
Yeah, I feel this. But we have, at the end, Sarah, we have to give them a tips to enhance the performance in the upcoming rounds.
Shall we go to another room? I mean, because
Are we going to discuss their performance now?
No, guys, could you please just leave the room and just give us one more minute? Salma and Sarah.
So just before leaving, please, I have a concern. We are Team C, not D. We checked our email now. So it's fine?
No, it's not fine, Salma. You are Team C?
Yes, we don't have a clear statement that which team we are, but we got it from the Zoom link. So round 2, we are mutual team, we are Team C, not D.
If I can make a suggestion, Mohammed,
Yes,
my suggestion is that you contact Danny and he will solve this issue, yes?
Yes, we're really sorry for that, but we don't have a clear statement which team we are. We're really sorry.
Okay, Salma, we will rank based on your opposition. If you're opening the government or closing the government, or I will announce the result like that, and then I will return it back to Danny to make sure about this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Salma. Just give us just one more minute, please. Try to leave the room and return it back. Thank you.
Nicholas, please.
You have to leave too.
Who is else?
Next time we have to go to a breakout room as the isn't it? Like, I think it's better. Otherwise, people can come in.
I have a suggestion, Mohammed. We can just write names. We can write their names and then decide which team they are with Danny. Now we just have to...
Don't worry about this, Sarah. I will take it under my responsibility and back to get in touch with Danny. And for the announcement, I will announce that winning the team is the closing government team, Ahmed and like this. So after that, I will get in touch with Danny before submitting the results, and I will do like this. Okay?
Okay, good.
Thanks, Mohammed.
Yeah, welcome, David. So if we would like to invite the participant to come again, I will put the scores based on this. The total scores of the teams based on what Sarah just said. This is a very low debate. We didn't find a clear arguments, and most of them is under average.
Exactly.
But at the end, we have to put a score for this. And once we agree on the ranking, it's fine. Let me, if you are giving me the permission to put the scores and fill the sheet, but the result at the end will be like what we have agreed. Great?
Yes, I can just say...
No, just 1 minute, because we have two debaters. We have two debaters in the room. We still have two debaters. Georgios and Sarah. No, Sarah is one of the amazing... Sarah?
Georgios, could you leave for 1 minute and come back, please?
Yorgos.
I don't think he can hear us.
Okay. We cannot discuss the result, Sarah, unless Georgios and Sarah and anyone should leave the room except the organizer, Sarah.
We can't hear you. Can you leave the room?
I will ask Albert.
Yeah, just a few minutes, couple of minutes, Yorgos.
Albert, do you hear us? Albert?
Okay.
So is it below average or average?
Okay, Sarah, go ahead.
What I wanted to say is that there are some participants that are average, and there are participants in the room. We can't do this. Can we just announce the winning team and then do this after the second debate?
Yes, I think this is what needs to be done, because now there's also no time. So Yeah, I think you just need to announce the winners, guys. And
Okay.
after the second debate, potentially this is something that you can do. Also, feedback can be sent online, but unfortunately, it's quite tight now. Plus, we need to wrap up this session in 5 minutes because there's preparation for the next session. We want to give people that 15 minutes. Thank you.
Can I just add something?
Thanks a lot.
Danny, I will get in touch with you because we have a problem in the name of the teams. Some of the teams did not know the team A or team B or team C. So we put our result based on the position, not based on the name of the team. And then I will get in touch with you to allocate the teams.
That sounds great. Just keep with you, keep all the scores with you. And then worst case scenario, you can email them to me tonight and I'll sort everything out for tomorrow. So no problem there.
I will.
And you're announcing only the winner, just the one team.
No feedback? As
if there's no time, yes. Absolutely.
Okay, great. We can invite all the debaters right now, Danny. I don't know who is responsible for this. We can invite all the debaters.
Albert, Albert can make that, I guess.
Well, the debaters need to come in by themselves. That's why they came in at 15 minutes. We started in a couple of minutes. Yeah. No, they should be coming in.
We told them to come back at 6:15, I think, or at 5:15. They'll all be here.
No, they actually finished earlier, so they were coming back earlier.
Okay.
Guys, until the rest of the debaters join us, I just wanted to highlight some areas of improvement for all of you, not specifically for anyone or for any team, but to make sure that the upcoming or the next rounds could be better. So, do you hear me?
Yes.
Great. The first one, it's not allowed at all that you are in one of the strongest and most powerful forums all over the Middle East and finish your speech before your time. Guys, you have been well nominated and you're supposed to be the greatest debaters over the region. So for the next rounds, you have to make sure that you at least finish the 5 minutes of debate that you are going to do. So please, for the next rounds and for the semi-final and final, we are expecting a lot from all of you. Please try to finish your time as much as you can, because it's not accepted at all that many people try to be in the place that you are right now, and you finish this before the time. So please, this is the most important advice from your bigger brother to all of you. The second one, we observed, me and all the educators, that there is a very limited number of points of information, which is not accepted at all. We are expecting a lot from all of you regarding the point of information, because it's not like a speech from everyone. It's a matter of conflict in terms of asking and doing a repetition, asking more in point of information and receiving that, trying to have an ideas get together against. So please, for the next rounds, you have to make sure that you can ask points of information. Just open your microphone and ask about any points of information against the team that you work. The third one is that I felt that, or we felt that some of you did not cooperate together to have a full arguments in terms of any idea. So please, for the next rounds, try to do your best in order to do more coordination with your partner, because we feel sometimes that there are teams that have contradiction with others, which is not accepted at all. We have to be aligned at the same line, as long as we have the same situation or have the same position. So what else? So the point of information, please be careful about this. We are counting every point of information requested and even accepted. So please, you have to do more points of information. The last issue that I would like to tell all of you before announcing the results, which is a very serious issue, by the way, is the rebuttal and the refutation. We don't feel any good or outstanding rebuttal or refutation during the debate. We know that the time is limited. It's not 7 minutes, it's just 5 minutes, but at least we are waiting for at least 1.5 minutes for doing a strong and a very good rebuttal and refutation. Because being a debater is built on argumentation and rebuttal or refutation. So when you are preparing your arguments in front of your screens and even read it in front of all of us, it's not the matter of debate. You have to make sure that you have a good argument and you are waiting to do a very, very good refutation or rebuttal. We are going to give you scores based on many issues in the rebuttal, the variety of the rebuttal, the methods that you use, the strong points that you get from your team that you're debating against to do the rebuttal. So please, we are waiting for more strongest rebuttal and refutation in terms of the time, the specific time that you specify in the whole 5 minutes, and in terms of the points that you get from the other team. Great? Is it clear? Okay. I think all of you are joined right now. Let's do a quick check. Katrina, Adnan. Katrina and Adnan. They still didn't join.
No, there's quite a few people missing. I emailed everybody asking them to rejoin. I hope that they will come in. If they don't, here we go. All right. Okay.
Katrina or Adnan?
Yes.
I can see. Yes, Adnan, thank you. Mar or Ahmed?
Yes.
Anyone from, yeah, thank you. Nicholas or Isra?
Yes.
Then Georges or Salma?
Yes.
Okay, guys, thank you. Anyway, guys, because we have a very limited time for the next round, I will announce the result. The winning team for this debate. Thank you all before starting to announce the team. I hopefully you get my points or our recommendations, me and my peers in the adjudication to improve your level of the countdowns. The winning team is the closing government, Ahmed and Mar. Ahmed and Mar, congratulations. You are the winning team for this first round. Hopefully for all good luck for all of the rest of the teams. And we are waiting more from you in the next round. Thank you, guys.
See you in about 15 minutes.
Yes, everyone. And thanks again for being here. All right.
That was very confusing. Do you want to discuss in WhatsApp maybe?
Yeah, it's the same. Like, I think we have to, we can send an email. We have to talk later together with Mohammed as well.
Yeah, because here it's recorded.
You see, we got the email, but it wasn't written A, B, C, D, you see. And I read everything, all the materials, and I was there also at the meeting, but I got it. At any rate, I mean, we did it. Are you going to be here for the next one as well? Yes, Sarah? All right. So let's see later. Okay. Bye.